The Thing wakes up on a S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarrier, alarmed but glad to find he is no longer falling apart. Maria Hill greets him and asks what happened. Ben isn't sure, but a terrible thought strikes him. Doom saved his life. Victor was furious to see his mother, immediately assuming she was some kind of imposter. Maria thought Victor's mother, Cynthia, died a long time ago. Evidently, Doom thought so too. Victor's mother easily resisted her son's attacks and insisted she was real. She encouraged Victor to scan her with any of the systems in his armor to confirm this. Victor asked why she would do this, why she would reveal herself now, and she explained that she didn't mean to do so, she didn't mean to bring him here. He just sort of stumbled onto her. But she doesn't mind now. Up until recently, Victor was nothing but a source of shame, and she wanted nothing to do with them. She watched him fight and rage at the world, and wanted to scream, "This is not her son. He is a king, a man of science, who in her view, should be the sorcerer supreme of this realm." And finally, it's all changed. He's found a path to honor. He's trying, and it means so much to her. Victor asked what she is doing here, and Cynthia said she was here to protect him from monsters like this thing. Victor ordered her to release Ben, saying that if she wants to help, she'll let him go unharmed. Victor's mother pointed out that Ben will chase him to the ends of the earth, but Victor wouldn't hear of it. His mother obliged and restored Ben, and apologized, saying she wanted to approach him more carefully than this. Victor asked why, if she is so shameful of him over all these years, she never acted, she never talked to him or tried to stop him. But that's it. That's all the Thing can remember before he passed out. Ben says they need to get back to Latveria, but they never actually left. Ben's capture has finally given cause for S.H.I.E.L.D. to put some boots on the ground here. The country has been a mess for as long as Maria has been in charge, so they're going to bring a little much-needed peace to this region. The de facto leader of the country, General Karadik, is arrested, but there is no sign of Doom or his mother. In Cambridge, Amara Pereira is approached by Agent Dum Dum Dugan. He, of course, has some questions about Doom. This frustrates Amara, but not as much as when she is given a letter from the school asking her to resign. With her life in ruins, she tells the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents to back off, refusing to say where Victor took her or where he might be right now. Not long after this, Victor arrives and thanks her for not telling S.H.I.E.L.D. about him. She is furious at him, Tony, and S.H.I.E.L.D. for getting her involved in all of this insanity. Her life was normal once. As she begins to collect her things, she asks Victor to leave, but he only promises to make things better, in spite of her pleas for him to just leave her alone. Doom is acting a little off, and Victor explains that he met his mother for the first time since he was a young man. Reluctantly, Amara asks what happened. Cynthia told her son that she never stopped loving Doom, even when he was a villain, but he was so emotionally charged at seeing her, she decided to leave him for now. She promised they will talk again when he is more open to the idea. Victor really thought she was gone. He saw her soul trapped in hell, and managed to free her a long time ago. Victor realizes now that the righteous path is much more complicated than a selfish one. He was a fool to think otherwise, and he understands that. Because of his naive behavior, he has ruined Amara's life. To this, Amara only says whatever he wants from her, he can't have it. But Victor sees that too. She says she can't fix him. She can't even fix herself. Cynthia watches this, and her companion asks if she mentioned his name to Victor. She tells him no, as she and her son didn't actually get much of a chance to talk. Her companion is proud of her just the same. This all couldn't have been easy. Cynthia thanks. Reed Richards. Hello and welcome to Comic Island. My name is Arden, and this is my recap and review of Infamous Iron Man number 5. So I was looking forward to this issue. Last month I said this series keeps getting better and better each issue, and I'm rather happy to say that trend continues. The confrontation between Doom and his mother was pretty interesting and not what I expected. Victor's reaction was very panicked and emotional, especially by this character's standards, but it does make sense. With a life lived like his, the first thing anyone would be expecting in his shoes is for this to be some sort of elaborate trick. And him kind of freaking out over her makes sense given his history with her in general. That's the sort of cool stuff I was hoping for in this comic, but it went way above and beyond that. Ben Grimm had some great moments here, and the knowledge that Victor went out of his way to save the Thing's life is going to be a major factor in how things proceed from here, or at least I hope so. Now that the two authority figures most out to get Victor, Maria and the Thing, both owe their lives to doom, I think in the long run this will matter and play out to some sort of effect. Then we get to the part of the comic I would have assumed would have been boring, more talking with Amara. But it wasn't. It was actually really important to this issue and the series in general, with some very telling dialogue. There was something very real about how this conversation ended. Victor clearly keeps coming back to this woman for help. He might have trouble articulating this or even acknowledging that he's doing this, but that's very much what's happening. But as Amara said, she has problems of her own, and she can't just benevolently fix his. That was a very human moment I can relate to, and I think this conversation is the best writing to come out of this series yet. In general, the relationship between these two is interesting, because there's nothing straightforward about it, it's not clear how the two feel about each other, and we as the reader are left to kind of speculate for ourselves. I quite like that. All this writing is so good, it's very easy to forget it's coming from Bendis, and is a reminder that yeah, sometimes this guy can really write. This is far from his usual format too. It actually reminds me a lot of his brief stint on Old Man Logan during the Secret Wars event. In this issue, Bendis refreshingly uses about as little dialogue as feels necessary, and it's way more effective than his usual approach with mountains of dialogue and text in the average comic written by him. Sometimes less is more, and we as the reader get to fill in the blanks for ourselves, or just to think about things for ourselves. We still don't get any narration from Victor's perspective. That's a good thing. Instead, we have to glean his thoughts and feelings through his actions and words. It's not to say there's anything wrong with narration, but here it makes for a great read not to include it. And the art just is so good and on point on delivering some of these facial expressions and general ideas of the plot that it works really well. And that brings me to the last scene, this brilliantly executed moment at the end. Again, there's very little dialogue, but this moment changes everything, and we actually get a sense of this maybe being the Reed Richards from the Ultimate Universe. I'm pretty certain, based on the way actually the lettering is done, it looks very distinct to the Ultimate Universe comics, and if that's so, that's a very cool way of revealing this, but also presenting it. It's just really neat. And on top of that, the plot twist itself is very cool, because now we have the Ultimate Reed Richards back and likely as dangerous as ever, and now we have a heroic Dr. Doom likely to square off against him. How crazy is that? I definitely recommend this issue. This series is rapidly becoming a must-have for Dr. Doom fans, and you don't want to miss this series for yourself. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. Thanks for watching this video. If you'd like to support us making more content, check out our Patreon page. You can find the link in the video description. Finally, don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep reading comics.